Welcome everyone to my ETEC 590 graduating project, Technology Trails in Education. If you're reviewing this video, you have found the home page to my portfolio. I would just like to take a few minutes to outline the highlights of this work and give you a glimpse of the learning that serves as both background and byproduct to my work in the MET program. Every element required in the ePortfolio is referenced at the top heading bar. These elements contain information about myself and my learning experiences through the MET program. Clicking on elements in this bar will take you to corresponding pages within the portfolio. Hovering over some headings will reveal subheadings that can lead to more pages. Feel free to use these links in whatever order you choose to peruse any aspect of the portfolio at any time. For a linear tour of the portfolio, I suggest using buttons available at the bottom of each page to progress through the various elements in the order that I had designed. At any time, you can return to the home page of this website by clicking on the portfolio title, Technology Trails in Education. My trailhead serves as a starting point and an outline to the educational journey I set out on over 2.5 years ago. This journey was guided by 3 educational goals that I conceived, revisited, and reflected upon often. These goals helped me to stay on my path and reminded me to keep my studies grounded in practical and ethical purpose. Above all else in this experience, I wanted the knowledge I gained in the MET program to be used effectively and responsibly. Since alpine hiking has been a treasured pastime of mine for over 20 years, one that repeatedly reinforces an experience similar to my journey in the MET program, I chose to use this passion as a guiding metaphor to my ePortfolio. Skills, resources, and educational theories are all equipment and tools that have helped me on my journey, and my completed courses have woven into a path that has led me to my trail's peak, a place where I can reflect on my journey and understand the surrounding landscape of a world where technology and change are fundamental facets to 21st century education. Along my trail, you can find course reflections and artifacts. These signposts represent my learning and the theoretical frameworks that have supported that learning. If anything, I would say my experience in the MET program has been grounded in Vygotsky's theory of constructivism, in that I have selectively taken knowledge and skills from this program and built up my understanding in a situated context relevant to what I consider important, relevant, and useful in my professional and personal lives. The greatest treasures along this trail are unique to me and may not be the same for others. Some courses offered thought-provoking reading and discussion, while others may have offered a chance to hone my technical abilities. As part of this journey, I incorporate technological elements that allow me to link and share ideas and accomplishments, taking full advantage of modern text technologies to do so. Along my trail, you will find links, buttons, scribed documents, files, and embedded video, all representative of elements that allow me to scaffold and build my learning into something that is personal and meaningful, my own journey unlike any other. So at the end of my trail, at the top of my mountain, what is there to see? What have I discovered in the process and culmination of 2.5 years of study of the way we learn in a technologically mediated culture? As an English teacher, I am drawn to the depth and extent to which change defines our educational landscapes. Walter Ong reminds us that technological changes to the very fundamental mechanics to our literacy dictate the processes by which we think. Technologies are not mere exterior aids, but also interior transformations of consciousness, and never more than when they affect the word. This is as true for older transitions in literacy and communication as it is modern ones, for J. David Bolter remarks that digital technology is one of the more traumatic remediations in the history of Western writing. In this age of digitally mediated literacy, as communicators, we are concerned that there is too much information held in electronic media for our minds to assimilate, while as an audience, the verbal text competes for the reader's attention with a variety of elements. Minds fly from printed word to moving picture to oral expression to associative link, all in a pattern determined at random according to individual instinct. Nowhere have I felt this more than in the construction of my artifacts, this ePortfolio included. Through the course of the MET program, I have evolved as a learner, both in how I absorb and express my knowledge. Linear structures like the writing process have been supplemented by technologically enabled competencies that encourage me to consider how text, image, sound, design, and associative linking can collectively reinforce meaning. My developing sensitivities to these aspects have created an explosively chaotic creative process, one which is simultaneously improved and hampered by the interplay of these elements. My ideas dictate my media, and vice versa. And so from these experiences, I can understand the landscapes that my students walk through. They have the opportunity to learn and express in ways that until 3 years ago were largely unknown to me. They have the opportunity to develop competencies and literacies that I had no idea were necessary or relevant when I was in high school. What's more, my students have the opportunity to learn and express as part of a participatory culture, where learning and creation are iterative processes based on the strength of our connections as a learning community, either formal or informal. It is with this in mind that I move into the next phase of my career as what Mary Calancis and Bill Cope would call a designer and manager of learning. The ideas in their article, The Teacher as Designer, Pedagogy in the New Media Age, best represent how I plan to implement my learning from the MET program. To quote, I aim to create learning environments which engage the sensibilities of learners who are increasingly immersed in digital and global lifestyles, helping to build the knowledge capital of a society, the creative capacities for innovation, as well as the sensibilities to navigate ambiguity and complexity. I intend to use emerging technologies to offer transformative, multimodal learning experiences that emphasize engagement, innovation, creation, and collaboration. In doing so, I will be able to design individualized learning paths for my students so that we may take the journey of education together.